I loved them. I loved them so fucking much. That's how this should start. If I'm to document all of this before I tell you what happened tonight, you should know about them. You should see light and love before I tell you about the rest, because if you are listening to this, who knows? I came home bloodied. Most of it wasn't mine, and I was exhausted. Tonight was harder than the other nights. There was an end to all this. I knew there was, but that didn't bring me comfort, not right now. Right now, being stuck in the struggle in that shitty in-between space felt just like a little too much. I was clear through the gates of the community. Sigils, spell work, and technology kept it hidden. I pulled the car in front and parked in my usual spot. I got out, walked the short distance to the door, stopped before I got there. Instead, I sat on the front steps and put my head in my hands. I didn't move when I heard the door open. I knew it was her, my dragon, by the weight of her steps. Celine knelt behind me, wrapped her arms around my shoulders, pulled me back against her, and pressed her lips against the top of my head. She didn't say a word, just wrapped me up in her arms, her space, her energy. It was healing. She whispered in my ear, her voice and embrace giving me the strength I needed to rise. So I rose, my hand in hers, and walked into our house. Cade waited for us in the bathroom, steam rising from the large shower stall. They still hadn't asked me any questions about tonight, and goddess, I appreciated it. I appreciated them. When I came into the room, he closed the distance between us, empathy and love in his eyes. He gently framed my face between his hands and kissed me. Cade was already gloriously, wonderfully naked. Dark, gleaming skin and hard plains. He was in such good shape because he'd always been an active man, even before he'd become a vampire. But we'll come back to that. Now, I'm busy being loved, and goddess knows tonight I just need it. I need this reminder of everything that's beautiful in the world, before I tell you all the rest. It's a weird sensation, feeling your wounds healing at an accelerated rate. But, it's an especially odd juxtaposition of sensation to feel that while also being so relaxed because your wife and your husband fucked you so well. Anyway, now that you and I have become so intimately acquainted, I'll get to the part that probably brought you here in the first place. My name is Agent Silver Onyx. Yes, that is my real name. This report is number 19. I, like my partners, work with an order whose name we don't speak aloud because some secret societies should in fact be secret. Looking at you, Illuminati. We, agents of the order, have all agreed to document current events and our lives, even the intimate parts, because it is only in our stories that we can find truth now. We do not work with SPT Securities, but they are another organization that is fighting for humanity. They always have been. Surprised they're not sick of it by now. The Order is a joint organization between humans and supernatural beings and was formed out of necessity when the war started. The war. You know how it started. You don't need me to tell you that. You watched it start. We all did. World War III sounds like a fucking picnic to what we're facing right now, which is utter global chaos. We are fighting back dystopia, extinction, fucking AI run amok. Saw that coming. Dimensional holes tearing open and sending in Lovecraftian-type nightmares. Didn't see that one coming. Jesus, you couldn't even fucking look at the last type of creature. We're fighting back a future nobody but a group of asshole billionaires want. But we have hope. Most days. Supernatural beings like me and my partners have always existed on Earth, okay? There's always been a variety of us, just never a great number. Humans outnumber us quite a bit. In some eras, we were gods, and others, we were the source of nightmares and scary tales. Sometimes we're both. Eventually, it became clear to us supernatural folk that the better option was just to stay hidden. You might think it's hard, especially in the age of surveillance, but honestly, it wasn't. Your governments, human governments, didn't want regular humans knowing about us and would routinely scrub evidence of us. That helped, of course, but supernatural folks staying off the radar was easily mostly because the majority of you You didn't want to believe. You did not want to believe that life was anything but the bullshit we're experiencing now, probably minus the fucking random tears in reality. You didn't want to believe the planet was a lot more than you thought it was, that your science knew more than it let on. You didn't want to believe any of that, so you didn't. If you do not believe in it, you will never let yourself see it. Anyway, before that was fine by us supernatural beings. We had our own isolationist policy, so the secrecy wasn't all humans' fault. We made covert deals with different human governments in the beginning, and we had our own governments too. Usually it was all pretty civil. Fucked up at times, but, civil. But that was before the war, before the shit really hit the fan. You used to see us every day, you just didn't know it. Well, humans did anyway. Things changed. Quickly. It kind of felt like overnight, but that's a different after-action report, and well, you were there. If you weren't, if you're listening to this hundreds of years into the future, there will be many of these stories, and they will tell you the sad tale. Do me a favor. Be fucking smarter than we were and actually learn from history. I beg you. Tonight, right. Tonight sucked. 5 hours ago, I infiltrated a U.S.-owned torture and holding facility. They don't call them that, but we are honest about things here. That's what it was. It was a torture and holding facility. Inside this facility, there were 5 supernatural beings and 25 humans. Small, by all accounts, but the prisoners inside were high value to the order, and more importantly, they were people who needed help. Nothing ever goes according to plan, okay? Nothing. You plan. Something always happens. There's always variables, but tonight, it's one thing to capture us. It's another to turn us against each other. Supernatural kind, we're not a utopia, okay, we're not, but we don't murder each other. Not the way humans do. Supernatural beings aren't saints, but there is not one of us on Team Tyranny. Not one. We are not like humans. I killed a wolf tonight. I hate saying that. I hate that I did that because she was my friend. She'd been captured looking for her daughter. This wolf, she was not someone who could be broken, okay? Not her. She was built for torture, physical and mental. She was immovable. Nothing was going to stop her from getting her daughter. She was someone, the longer they had caged, the more likely it was she was going to get herself out. And she'd only been there 3 months. The only way they could have broken her like that was to threaten her daughter. She would have done anything for that girl. She would have done anything for that girl. And if that's how they turned her into that, fuck. When I opened up her cell door, she was gone. Her eyes changed. They weren't wolf-like. No, this was weird. They were all silver. How fucking ironic, right? But her eyes were like liquid pools of silver. But whatever they'd done to her, it didn't take away her skill. She'd been trained to be a killer since she was 7, and she had fought so hard to get her life back, and she'd been happy. She was my friend. She was my friend, and she came at me with a fury that didn't make sense. She was trying to kill me, and I was so fucking shocked she almost succeeded. She had me. She had me dead to rights. Yeah, I wasn't nearly the martial artist she was. There were so few of us that were. And with all her wolf strength and senses combined, like even with my magic, I wasn't a match. And I was positive I was going to be murdered by my friend. And all I could say to her was, Kate, it's me. It's fucking me. Don't let them do this to you. You have to remember Finn. Kate, please, you have to remember Finn. And that's what made her stop. Knife poised, right above my chest. My arm straining to keep it from where she was going to push it. I could still feel her weight, but she paused. And then she said to me, "Do it." I thought I hadn't heard her right. But she said it again. And I said no. I said no. But she... The knife was coming from my chest again, but the pause, it gave me time to rip one of the bars off the cells, and I hit her with it. I just had to get her off. But she came at me again, and finally, 4 supernatural beings and 23 humans have been rescued and dropped off at a safe location. Cade, my husband, is currently going through the hard drives I pulled from the facility. It was all heavily encrypted, of course, but I am hoping it will give us some insight about what they did to Kate. Finn, if you're out there, I'm sorry. If they've got you, we'll find you. If you're hiding, you stay hidden, okay? You just have to remember that she loves you, and thank you for saving my life, because I know that was the only thing she heard. I will make it worth something. I will. Celine, my wife, and I, we leave tomorrow. New assignment, though I haven't been given the details yet, though that's not uncommon. Cade will stay here and continue breaking the encryption. In the next report, if I'm alive to give one, I'll tell you more about Cade and Celine and myself, I suppose. Maybe the future will be different. Maybe in the future, supernatural folk won't be hidden anymore. Maybe the future is bright and beautiful because we won. Woo. I don't know, after tonight it's hard to believe that. It's really hard to believe that. But I'm going to hope, because I owe it to Kate. I owe it to my wife. I owe it to my husband. I owe it to you, too, I guess, whoever you are. So, despite how dark it gets, let's hope. Let's hope we win. Let's hope tomorrow is better. This is Agent Oynx, and report.